It was a mistake, but anyway, I did it. But just at the last minute, some guys came on. Oh my God. There was a real bad smell of BO, and I remember thinking, I don't want to sit with this for the next 7 hours. Hey guys, welcome to another video. So, in this video, I'm going to tell you about the time when I took my wife to Scotland. We were actually living in Malaysia at the time, and I arranged her first trip outside of Southeast Asia to Scotland. So if you stick around to the end of this video, something happened that actually doesn't happen very often. So if you stay till the end, I'll tell you all about it. So for my wife's first trip to Scotland, this would have been 2013, I think, or 2012, I'm not too sure. It was around that time. And we flew with Emirates from KL to Dubai, and then Dubai to, I think it was Edinburgh, no, it might have been Glasgow. And I remember actually, we got on the flight from KL to Dubai, and we were sat up near the back of the plane, and for some reason, I can't remember why, but when I booked the seats, both of us were on an aisle. So I was on one side of the aisle, she was on the other side. I'm guessing that maybe she wanted an aisle and I wanted an aisle, so that's how I did it. It was a mistake, but anyway, I did it. And it looked like she was going to get the full 3 seats to herself. But just at the last minute, some guys came on, Asian guys, and when they came up the back of the plane, I realised they were going to be sitting next to her. Oh my God. There was a real bad smell of BO, and I remember thinking, I don't want to sit with this for the next 7 hours to Dubai. But I checked with the cabin staff, and she said there was no more seats available. So I checked if there was any in business class, and she said they had 2 in business class. So I found out how much it was to upgrade, and it was a bit expensive, but I thought, you know what, for my wife's first trip outside of Southeast Asia, I don't want it to start off like this. So I did it. I got the 2 flights in business class, and I have to tell you, it was fantastic. Emirates business class is brilliant. So it was a nice wee start to the holiday. And then when we got to Dubai for the next flight to Glasgow, the plane was half empty, so we had seats all to ourselves, which worked out really well. So that was the start of the holiday. Now, at this time, this was in winter time, so I don't know if you've ever been in Scotland in the winter time. It can be quite bleak. We don't get a lot of daylight, so in the winter, you know, as well as getting snow, it doesn't get light in the morning until sometimes like 9 o'clock, and then it starts getting dark about 3:30 in the afternoon. So you don't get a lot of daylight. I was a bit worried, thinking about what she was going to make of it all. So anyway, the first morning we stayed with my mum, and the first morning we got up, and my wife was sat looking out the window in the living room. My mum says, "Jing, honey, what are you looking for? Are you looking for something?" And she said, "I'm just wondering when the sun's going to come up." I said, "Usually around March." So yeah, I think she was a wee bit surprised at that. So we did all the usual tourist things, you know. I took her to Edinburgh Castle, and we did a tour inside Edinburgh Castle. You know, we got a few photographs at Edinburgh Castle. Inside you get to see the crown jewels. You know, it's very, very touristy, but she enjoyed it, the experience of Edinburgh Castle. And then when you're actually on the concourse outside the castle, you've got a cracking view across Edinburgh all the way across the Firth of Forth to Fife. So that was nice. But if I'm being honest, Stirling Castle is much better. So we did a trip to Stirling Castle. Now Stirling Castle is the area where the Battle of Bannockburn was fought against the English in 1314. So there's a lot of history there. And if you go there, you'll see the Wallace Monument, which you can see right across the valley. It's quite high. And inside Stirling Castle, there's a lot of information about William Wallace. If you've ever seen the movie Braveheart with Mel Gibson, you'll know what I'm talking about. So I actually asked my wife, you know, what was her favourite castle? Was it Edinburgh or Stirling? She said Stirling Castle. She said it was more like a castle than Edinburgh, and that's because Edinburgh Castle was more for the tourists. So we did a wee trip to a place called Callander, and just outside Callander we saw the Highland cows, Highland cattle, with the long brown hair. So that was good. She had a couple of photographs taken with the Highland cattle. That was a nice wee day, and then I actually arranged one night away for us, you know, just to get away from my mum's place for a night. So we went to a hotel in Aberfoyle, and on the way to Aberfoyle, I think we came from Callander to Aberfoyle, and you have to go across the mountains. Now bear in mind, right, it's snowing, it's probably around late morning, and it's quite bleak, very grey, you know, there's no sun on show. And as you drive across the mountains to Aberfoyle, it's very quiet on the roads, you know, and the roads were drivable, but very quiet. And I noticed that my wife had gone very, very quiet in the car. It was just me and her. I said, "Are you okay?" She said, "I'm scared." I says, "What do you mean you're scared?" And she said, "Well, there's nobody here." She said, "There's nobody here." I said, "Well, what did you expect?" She said, "Well, I thought we'd see other people or houses or something. You know, when you're going across these mountains, there's literally no sign of civilization, especially in the winter." But we had a nice time at the hotel. I think it was the McDonald's Hotel in Aberfoyle. We just stayed there one night, but it was nice. She enjoyed that. So another thing I did was I took her to a football match, or soccer, as you call it in the US. And we went to Glasgow for the game, and she was completely blown away with it. She couldn't believe there was like 50,000 supporters there, all singing, you know. We had a cracking day, and my team won 3-0. So that was good, you know. She was really, really taken with that. And then after the game, I introduced her to a famous Scottish delight, chips and curry sauce. So French fries with yellow curry sauce, and they put the curry sauce on top of the chips, and you eat it out of this paper bag. She loved it. So the other thing, when we were there, we met my two daughters. I've only got this photograph of my wife with my youngest one, Erin. I don't know where Ashley was. I think at that time she might have been at university. I can't remember, but we met them for lunch. I think that was their first time meeting my wife. Actually, we weren't technically we weren't married at that time. We got married in Malaysia after that, and my 2 daughters came over for the wedding. So at that time we were sort of, we were boyfriend, girlfriend type of thing. But they met my wife, we had lunch together, then we did a wee bit shopping. And then I think we stayed in Scotland for 2 weeks. And then, eventually we had to leave. We had to go back to Malaysia where we were living at the time. So sad to leave obviously, but we managed to fit a lot of things in to the 2 weeks. And she met some of my friends who live nearby my mum's house. And we had a couple of nights with them. So that was good. And then it came for the time to head back to Malaysia. So this is what I mentioned at the start of the video. We were flying from Glasgow to KL, and then, Glasgow to Dubai, and then Dubai to KL, obviously with Emirates again. So the first flight went okay. I can't remember what the seating arrangement was, but I think we were sat next to each other. And then when we got to, so that flight takes about, I think it's about 7 hours. And when we got to Dubai, we still had another 7 hours to get to KL. And I remember checking in, and then I walked up to the sort of to go through to the departure gate, and the guy that was standing there from Emirates, he looked at our tickets and he says, "Oh, I've got something for you." I thought, what's that? They had given us a free upgrade to business class. He said, "You were business class coming out." I said, "Yeah, that's right. I paid for an upgrade." He said, "Well, this is on us." And I was like, oh, my wife was over the moon, because obviously she experienced business class going there. So that was an absolutely fantastic ending. So we flew business class from Dubai to KL, and it was brilliant. If you ever get a chance, I know it's expensive, but Emirates business class is one of the best. And the thing is, I remember the days when you used to get free upgrades. It happened to me a couple of times when I was flying to Houston in the States. But that was a long time ago, that was 20 years ago. So it's quite rare now to get any sort of free upgrade. So and that was nice of Emirates, and it just finished off the holiday. It was perfect. So since then we've been back one more time. So I've had her back to Scotland twice, but both times in the winter. Next time we need to make it in the summer. Alright guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.